Hi there, my name is Michael Scott Forehand. Welcome to the Financial Focus Podcast. Today's podcast is titled, Why the Best Business Builders Lead by Serving. When people talk about building a business, the conversation often centers on income growth and scale. Those things matter, but they're not what sustain a business's long term. What sustained a business or an agency is how it's led. Using my industry as an example, the insurance industry, at its best, the agency business model, especially the way it's structured at Symmetry Financial Group, is built on a principle that doesn't get talked about enough: servant leadership. The idea that leadership isn't about being above people, it's about being responsible for them. In a servant-led agency business, success isn't measured only by production numbers. It's measured by how well agents are trained, how supported agents and clients feel, and whether or not the system actually makes people's lives better. That's where the model shifts from selling insurance to building something meaningful. One of the strengths of the agency structure at Symmetry is that it allows leaders to serve in multiple directions at once. We serve clients by ensuring they're placed in appropriate solutions. We educate the clients properly, and we support the clients even beyond the sale. We serve agents by providing mentorship, systems, and a clear path forward, especially for people who are new to the industry and need guidance. And over time, we serve our future self and family by building an organization that doesn't depend entirely on our own personal production or activity. That's where legacy enters the picture. Legacy in an agency isn't just about income streams or contracts. It's about the culture we create. Do people feel supported, or do they feel pressured? Do people feel equipped, or are they confused? Do clients feel like transactions, or do they feel like people that are genuinely cared for? Those answers determine whether an agency grows with integrity or burns out. Servant leadership also changes how success is defined. In a servant-led agency, leaders ask questions like, do our agents know what to do next? Are our clients better off because we were involved? Would this system still work if I stepped away for a season? Those questions lead to better decisions, both financially and ethically. Another overlooked benefit of this model is client continuity. When agencies are built around teams rather than just individuals, clients aren't left stranded when an agent changes roles, when an agent changes leadership, or when an agent steps away from production altogether or retires. Instead, the agency becomes a support structure, not a single point of failure. That's a huge advantage for clients, and it's a responsibility for the leaders. The agency role awards leaders who understand that growth follows service. When agents are well trained, they stay longer. When clients are well supported, they refer more often. When leadership is consistent, trust compounds. And trust is the most valuable asset any financial organization can have. Building an agency this way isn't fast, it's not flashy, but it is definitely not a passive activity. It does create durability. For the right person, this model offers something rare: the ability to earn income, build people, support clients well, and create a legacy that outlasts personal production. That's not just a business model. This is stewardship. And when leadership is rooted in service, the agency or business doesn't just grow, it endures. So the strongest business and agencies are built by those who lead from the front, and also those are willing to serve from the center. That being said, I'd like to introduce our guest for today, George Mathews. George is one of my dearest friends. He's also my mentor for this business, and along with his wife Janet, they are the reason why I'm in this business. The debt I owe him and Janet is immeasurable, and it is my honor to have George as my guest today. George, how you doing?
Wow, super. Doing excellent, Scott. Probably better than I deserve, and grateful for everything that Symmetry's brought in, and quite honestly for you and Donna. And you know that what you just shared, I mean, you could drop the mic right there. I mean, we're there's not, and that's true Scott Forehand style right there. But yeah, man, it's a great day. It's a beautiful day. We're excited about what's going on with the company, with the growth, in both your agency and Symmetry, our agency, and man, we're having fun and getting some stuff done.
Yeah, we
So
are.
I'm
Right.
excited. I'm excited to be here, man.
Core value number 8, right? We have fun and we get stuff done, right?
Yeah.
All right. So, George, you've reached the top contract level at Symmetry. You've built one of the most formidable master agencies here. When you look back, what do you think most people misunderstand about what it actually takes to get where you are?
Wow. The biggest thing that people misunderstand, um, I think that it's somehow complex. I think that when you look at business ownership, most of the time, and including in my case, I was forced to figure things out all on my own, right? Typically, when you're in business, if you can even stay in business, statistically, small businesses, it's not very pretty out there. But typically, when you do that, you've got to figure things out all on your own. The competition is the only one who knows as much about your business, and they're certainly not going to share with you. So when Janet and I, as serial entrepreneurs, were looking for something else that was different, the thing I think to kind of go to your question and answer it is there's a system here. And I think the biggest challenge is people try to overcomplicate what is already proven. There's already a pattern, there's a template here, right? That all we just got to just follow it. It's almost like when you're a kid and you either followed the dots or you just had to color inside the lines. If you can color inside the lines, right? It doesn't take away your creativity. You can use whatever colors you want,
Yep.
right? But and so it allows for that autonomy, right? To be in business for yourself, but not by yourself. It allows you the freedom to have a proven system in place. So to answer the question, it's like I think that not overcomplicating it, not trying to reinvent the wheel, is something that it because most people are like, it can't be this simple. And
Right.
I'm not saying to mistake that with easy,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
Because it's not. Last thing I
That's the
want.
confusion, right? Simple does not mean easy.
No,
Right.
no, and so because the last thing I want anybody who's looking at this industry, looking at this business model, to think that it's get rich quick, it's too good to be true, or it's easy, right?
Right.
This will be probably one of the hardest things, if you stick with it, that you'll ever encounter. I always tell people that the right person doesn't come here looking for easy because we've gone through life. We're somewhere in life where it's like, yeah, easy's not worth it, right? They don't come looking for easy. They come looking for worth it. It's not the size of the paycheck. It's the size of the opportunity,
Right.
right?
Yep. So when you let's turn the Wayback Machine on a little bit. You've been here a minute.
Mhm.
So early in your journey here, what belief or mindset shift made the biggest difference between then and staying average and now building something exceptional?
Yeah, that's a great one. I think they say your ego is not your amigo, and
Love that.
I, and it's real easy, especially if you've come from a life of like digging out, pulling yourself up by your own bootstraps. I'm going to make this thing work, right? It's real easy to say, when I got here, I've already arrived. And the statement I like to use is, what got you here can't get you there, right? I think it was Einstein said that the type of thinking that got you where you're at right now or how you solve a certain problem is incapable of getting you to that next level. I know I butchered that, but
Right.
it's that's kind of what it is. It's like you can't allow yourself to fall prey. Um, to I've arrived, some kind of Messiah syndrome, right? Where I know it all, I'm done growing. Because Einstein did say, if you stop growing, you start dying.
Yep.
So there's a certain amount of skill and talent and natural ability that everyone brings to the table.
Right.
You have to look at it as that's just where I'm at now.
Right.
It's an infinite chase,
Yeah.
right?
The
And I
growth
think
doesn't stop.
no, and that's one of Symmetry's, one of their four cornerstones is, the relentless pursuit of personal growth.
Yep.
And certainly leadership development are a big thing. I know that personally, self-awareness is something that it was one of those unconscious incompetent things. I didn't even aware that I had no self-awareness.
Right. And that's goes along the line with what you just said a minute ago, right? That this takes time, effort, and energy. It's simple, but it's not easy. And once you get to a certain stage, the people that helped you get to that stage are probably not the ones that are going to get you to the next level. And that's also because the leader that you were when you got to that first stage is not the leader that you need to be to get to where you are now. It's a constant growth, which is kind of what we're talking about.
It's hard. It's never easy to take a good, strong, hard look in.
That's that goes back to that ego, right?
Yeah.
Your ego needs to take a seat. Sometimes that's hard for people, myself included. All right,
Because
George. So when you're building it, go ahead, George.
I just want to finish up with like the attitude we need to have is that when things are going really well, it's the team's fault. Right?
Right.
And when things are going bad, it's my fault.
Yep.
Right. And it's not about a blame thing, it's about accountability.
Right. It's about leadership.
Yeah.
So when you're building and you're trying to build an agency at scale, there's things that you've already mentioned like systems and people and things I talked about at the very beginning, culture. So what do you think is the priority? Is it a system? Is it the people? Is it culture? What do you think is the priority and why?
Yeah. I got to quote Casey on this one here. He goes, there's a saying out there that culture eats strategy for lunch, right?
Yep.
And that we're blessed that we have both here.
Right.
And so I had asked Brian Pope a question many years back about, what's more important in this business. And I forget exactly the question, but he goes, that's just like asking me what's more important, in basketball, dribbling or shooting, or,
Right.
air versus water.
Yeah.
It's all important.
Right.
It's hard to say just one thing.
Right.
So, yeah.
Okay. So, over the years that I've known you, I've seen you help a lot of agents transition from where we're just trying to make our first sale, we're just trying to make our first annual X number of dollars, we're just trying to be a good producer, to where they transition to, okay, now I want to be a builder. So what do you think is the hardest transition for agents to make when they're trying to move from selling to building?
Yeah. Well, first, it starts with belief,
Okay.
right? It starts with, I know that I'm in the right place, because whether we want to admit it or not, it's all sales, right? It's all sales. Sales is just a transfer of belief.
Right.
Right. And if someone's going to follow you, right, they're going to do that because you have certainty, you have belief that what you're doing is the direction. And so helping this person, first of all, with that mindset and that attitude that they're in the right place and they've got to give this their all. That's the first part about this. If you get into the logistical side of it, Scott, it usually comes down to schedule.
There you go.
Yeah. Because you've gotten used to a certain patterns, certain habits, right? Certain procedures, certain processes that you do things, and you should have them in a calendar. The word should is very important there, right?
Well,
Um,
if you're going to be successful, you will have it in a calendar.
correct.
It's not a negotiation here, right?
100%.
Yeah.
And and so now you've got to add another whole thing. I kind of liken it to, and I'm going way back to where they used to have variety shows where they used to have plate spinners. And I know it's weird for those of you who are young on this call right here. It would be like a Lawrence Welk show or an Ed Sullivan show, and there would literally be these little sticks, and on there was a plate, and the guy would wiggle the stick, and it would cause the plate to spin. And he would have like 5, 10, 15, 20 of these going at once. And you get to see over there where, oh, that plate is running out of momentum, right? It's not spinning quite, it's about to fall and crash on the floor and break. And we're like, no, go get that one. Well, that's how you feel as an agent when you're used to producing, and now you got to add 3 more plates, right?
Right.
In the building side of it.
Well, the good news is, George, for people that start off and you start off as a producer and you're selling a lot, over time, your skill set for sales and underwriting technique and all that stuff, you're able to do it faster and faster and faster. So you're able to reduce the amount of time you have to devote to that activity so that you can increase the amount of time you get to devote to building. So there is a light at the end of the tunnel, but it takes time.
I think if we're looking for something to drive us through this uncomfortability, this newness, right?
That's the next question, George. You're answering the next question.
Is it? Okay. All right. Well,
So here it is. If you
all right.
had to name a habit or discipline that consistently separates agents who grow agencies from those who stall out, what would you say that is?
First of all, they make sure that they incentivize, they talk about, they promote
Ah,
that to more than just themselves or 1 or 2 agents. It's got to be a part of the culture coming in.
yep.
And I think the biggest thing to kind of tie what I was getting ready to say a minute ago with this is um, the primary reason that people hesitate building is because they feel they either don't know enough about it, right? Their belief isn't quite where it needs to be. They're worried about what someone might think. These are things, and they're all just games in our head, right? Um, and I will say, and it's kind of like a leading indicator versus a lagging indicator. And what I mean by that is if you just look at there's a magic in what I call backfilling belief. And what this means is when you start to build and you're telling folks and you're interviewing folks and you're letting them know, here's what the most successful agents do. They have this many appointments a week, right? They sit with this many families. They interview this many people every week, right? Pretty soon, if you're talking about it enough, if you're not doing it, all of a sudden you're like, yeah, I need to be doing that, right? Because, when people are watching you, we kind of give up that right to be mediocre, right? When we decide to build, and here's the thing I want to stress on this. It's a responsibility to build. Like I'm not responsible for your success, Scott, but it is incumbent upon me to, like, you're moving into a new industry. We're in the boat together. It's uncharted waters. I know where the sand dunes are. Or no, what do they call them? Not
Sandbars.
sandbars. Sandbars, yeah. I know where the sandbars are, right? And I'm going to make sure that, like, I'm not going to try to, I don't know, baby you, but I'm going to also make sure that we don't run aground.
Right.
And so it's finding that balance, and I'm sure that's probably going to come up a little bit later on about what leadership looks like, what challenge and support looks like, and those types of things. But I think that if we can just wrap our head around the fact that the sooner you start building, the quicker all pieces of your business will start to grow, and primarily yourself.
Right. Right. All right. So you, George, you're a master agency, right? So you've got a big, beautiful agency with a lot of agents and a lot of other agency owners that you've helped get to that level of leadership where they own their own agency. So how do you keep alignment and momentum when your organization gets as large as it is and as geographically spread out as it is? What do you do to keep alignment and momentum within the team?
Yeah. First of all, alignment. Um, there's a really important part of a culture that I feel needs to be there. And do your people, and this goes to the servant piece you were talking about, Scott, do they feel that you're in it for yourself, right? Or are you in it for them? And
Right.
when it's real clear that, man, I would give you the shirt off my back, I would do everything I can for you, right? Um, and there's a caveat to that, without robbing you of the challenge that's going to make you strong.
Right.
It's kind of that calling up and calling out and that push pull that Brian Williamson talks about, right?
Yep.
So finding that balance there so that we're not, because here's the thing, our goal is to duplicate and elevate so we can liberate and celebrate. And the sooner we can have these leaders in a position where, okay, I'm building my own culture, I'm responsible for this, right? It's not, I'm going to have a baby, leave him in the corner and give him a can of, formula and have him in a can opener. No, that's not how it works. There's got to be some direction and some guidance. And at some point, they're going to be adults. They're going to be fine. They're going to be able to go out on their own, right? And so I think the sooner that we let them get there, but know that it's safe to come to us and ask for help. It's one of the biggest things. I know my wife Janet, when she first got started here, she had come from a very corporate type of background, and in those environments, especially if there's corporate sales types of backgrounds, like if you ask for help, right, or you had questions, it was a sign of weakness.
Yep.
Like that's not the psychological safe zone we want to create
Right.
here, so that you can have that autonomy, but know that it's okay when, man, things are kind of going off the rails here a little bit. I need your help.
Right.
Right. And I think that, to continue to inspire, to lead from the front, right? Even though we've got other agency owners, Janet and I are still very, very focused on building our base. It's not just important. It's critical, I think, for leading from the front and showing what they should be doing as well. Because it's real easy for you to become an agency owner and then just work with those people. And what we
Yep.
find down the road, most of the time, not always, things are starting to change a little bit because of improvements and skill and knowledge, that those people that got you to agency owner, most of them aren't around anymore, right? And that's not a real sustainable model. We want that to be the case, but it's not because we coddle them.
Right.
Right. I think I heard Brian Delaney say, you know, uh, broke people break people and free people free people.
Yep.
Like the more we can allow you to be free, right, the more you'll free other people.
Okay. One of the interesting things about this industry is the travel and the freedom that is associated with once you reach a certain level of success, you get back your freedom. It's a short-term sacrifice for a long-term gain. So at this point, you've earned the ability to travel and design your time. How has travel changed your perspective on business, if it has, and also your perspective on leadership?
First of all, just the concept of travel.
Right, right.
Right. Like I see, like one of the things I've always said is the biggest beneficiary of this business are the children of the agents.
Yep.
because they see the growth, they see how they put themselves in a place to win. They understand the development that's required, and the kids get to go to all these exotic places.
Right.
Like, I think the first place I was on a military plane either going to or coming back from England because my dad got stationed there. There was literally rope nets. That's where our luggage sat. And then the only next time I flew was probably in my early teens to Lincoln, Nebraska. And I'd gone on a few trips in my more adult life, but nothing compared to the
Yep.
frequency, the diversity of the trips that we've had a chance to enjoy since we went here. The volume of trips has been absolutely amazing. Going with you and Donna to a lot of places,
Oh yeah.
fishing has been absolutely an amazing experience. And I don't know that I know I didn't answer your question yet, and you're probably going to need to repeat it again. But
It's just that changed your perspective, being able to do that travel, have that freedom, if you will. So how did, if it did, what did that have an impact or effect on you as far as your perspective on business, this business, and leadership?
Yeah, I think it kind of goes to the same thing. It's like a lot of people don't get to travel
Yep.
where when they go and they come back, their business didn't suffer,
Yeah.
right? And so either you earned the trip because of your production, and you did enough production where you could have paid for the trip if you had to, but it's even more fun when someone else does, right?
Right.
So it's something that I think that because we work hard here, because there's a Pareto principle, 80-20 rule, right? 80% of revenue is generated by the top 20% of the sales
Right.
force, right? Which means the people that typically earn these trips are working really hard.
Yep.
And when we work hard, we play hard, right? We have fun and we get stuff done. And, unfortunately, it's something that because it's merit based, we can earn it. Whereas it's not somebody sending you on a trip from a company because you're a favorite or you're a pet or they're letting this person go and that go. There's none of that here. You get to just work hard and earn these trips. And I think what it does for our agents is it gives them something to chase. It gives them something to look forward to. And it's a lot of fun hanging out with other people that have what you want. These folks that are on these trips, some of them, they may be a couple of steps behind you, but there's a lot that are a lot more steps ahead of you. And we get that association piece that is just one of the most valuable things that Symmetry has, to be able to sit down with like-minded people that are moving in a positive direction, that are
Right.
making an impact. They're becoming people of significance, and we get to hang out with them.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that part. That's again the culture that Symmetry's created, that you have taken and created here as well. All right. So over the years in this industry, you've helped a lot of clients create financial protection, and you've also helped a lot of agents do the same by engaging in this career and becoming successful here. So, that being said, how do you personally define legacy at this
Mm,
stage of your life and at this
mm.
stage in your business?
Wow. Whew.
Yeah.
I know you said the questions were in the invite, and I overlooked them. And this is a big one here.
Yep.
How do I define legacy?
At this
Um,
stage of your life and this stage in your business.
yeah,
Because they don't necessarily mean the same thing.
yeah. Um, Legacy in this stage of the business. A president or presidential candidate once said, "My job is to find and develop people into them at their full potential."
Okay.
And I think that legacy to me, it's when it started, and I've used this analogy before, when it started, it's kind of like, you're a little kid, you're excited about the business. It's kind of like Christmas morning every day. I'm going to
Right.
get something. I'm going to work hard and I'm going to get something. And the longer you get in this business, the legacy to me is I get to be Santa Claus now,
Yeah, I love
right?
it.
And what I mean by that, it's not no ego thing, but if I can play a little part in finding that person who just hasn't found the right vehicle, right? They've got the right work ethics, they got the right habits, the right character, right? They've got the right work ethic. They just haven't had the right vehicle. If I can help say, hey man, hop in this boat, man. We're gonna miss the sandbars. We're gonna do this, and get them closer to or at their full potential, or at least get them on their way. That to me is that's legacy. My wife and
Love
I,
it.
we don't have any kids, right? So yes, certainly do we want to be able to leave stuff to our nieces and nephews and that type of stuff? Absolutely, right? Um,
Okay.
but to leave someone, just leave someone money, it doesn't do anything. To impart wisdom and to let them see what's possible, yeah, I think is more important. Yeah, but it's nice to be able to give to different charities and make an impact that way.
Right.
Uh, yeah.
All right. So this second follow-up question is along the lines of what you're just talking about, but now we're gonna turn the clock a little bit. So when you think about the agents in your master agency, okay, what do you hope they'll say they learned from you 10 or 20 years from now?
That is possible.
There you go.
That there's I see so many people that want freedom, flexibility, control, uncapped potential, right? In my mind, who doesn't, right? But there are people out there that they're designed and built to be employees.
Okay.
I want them to remember that I was for them. I want them to be able to get to be them at their full potential so that their impact and their significance can ripple, right? Beyond just me.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. So for someone who's just starting out in this industry, someone who wants to build something that outlasts them, what should they focus on now that will matter the most later?
Again, a loaded question. There's so many things
I
that
know.
are like right in there. Um, to me, it's got to be mindset and attitude.
Yep.
Who are you surrounding yourself with? What are you
Yep.
reading? Um, and that's it right there. Who are you surrounding yourself with, and what are you reading? What are you doing to grow yourself just a little bit every day?
Yep. Love
Yeah,
that. All right.
yeah.
All right, George, we're getting right here at the end. So if you could leave prospective agents that are thinking about getting into the industry or agents that are already here watching this, what's the one principle about leadership, legacy, or life that you could recommend they focus on?
It's to me, it's pretty simple. I mean, I know there's folks in Symmetry that have some beautiful, they're amazing people. To me, it's first of all, the core values: do the right things, even though no one is looking, and that includes and is most important by leading by example.
Love it.
Like, people are watching you as you grow in this business. They're watching you, Scott. They're watching me. They're watching, all the leadership here in Symmetry, and they're looking at us under a microscope, right? So we have to be genuine. We have to be authentic. We have to be leading from the front. So that way we're not asking them to do anything that we haven't done, and it allows us to be relatable to them, right? Where we can partner with them and let them know that we're with them and we're for them.
Right. Well, George, thank you thank you to you and Janet. Like I said earlier in the beginning, I wouldn't be here. My wife and I wouldn't be here, and we wouldn't have the lifestyle we have right now if you and Janet hadn't brought us into this business and mentored and coached us the way that you have. And again, as I've always said, whenever I get the opportunity, I won't ever be able to repay you. So all I can do is do what you've done and pay it forward to the next generation of people that I bring in, that I coach and I train, and hopefully in the end, that legacy that we both have 20 years from now is people feel like we really did care, and not only our clients, but our agents.
Well,
Last
Scott,
word to you, George.
and thank you for that. I can tell you with zero hesitation, and for those of you who are considering building, you have to stick with it. At some point, you'll find yourself a Scott Forehand.
Good
And
luck.
Scott and
I'm
Donna
sorry
Forehand,
in advance. I'm sorry.
And where I'm going with this is the more you do this, the more confidence you get from this. You're going to be able to attract someone like that, right? And I'm just going to go ahead and tell the story here real quick, because when Scott answered our ad, there was three little questionnaires in there, 3 little questions. And the first one was, I'm okay with 100% commission. And then three responses. Yes, I prefer that type of uncapped compensation. 2, maybe if I have more information. And 3, no, I require a salary. And Scott not only said 3, but he also put in there, don't even bother calling if this is 100% commission.
Right.
And of course, Janet, she, with her fiery Italian blood in her, looked at your resume, looked at your history, and said, this guy's going to be miserable in a job. I'm calling him anyway. Right. And so you've come into this business. We are better off for having you in our organization and in our lives. We're better people. We're great friends with you guys. We love you. And what you've done for the company and for our business and our growth, we could never repay you either. So let's just call it even.
All right. So George, we got one last thing to talk about.
All right.
There's a book coming out, George.
Ooh.
And by the time this gets posted online, that book should be out and available on Amazon. So a lot of the stuff that we do here at Symmetry, a lot of stuff that you taught me, it's in that book and about how to do it. And this is about how to live a life, financial life, using some traditional financial principles and tools, but using them from a biblical perspective, a faith-based perspective. So this is that, if you're one of those people that you feel like you have to get up first thing in the morning and look at what happened in the crypto market, or find out if the stocks that you bought last week are producing or not, that's not a peaceful retirement, and that's not a peaceful engagement. And this is about building a financial legacy that you don't have to worry about what happened in the crypto market, and it's about a peaceful, where you're going to go. And that's part of what I've learned here, partly from you, George, is that's really the better way to do things. I don't need to. I used to play in the market. I used to be a day trader. I don't want to do that anymore. And this is a better tool. So that's coming out. So George, a little piece of you is in that book too. So I'm excited.
Can we say the name?
Yeah, sure.
So I love the name of your book, Scott. I can't wait to read it. I have seen what it looks like. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing. You're a beautiful mind. and it's called Kingdom Banking.
Yep. Legacy by Design.
Legacy by Design.
Yep. Wow. So it's a faith-based retirement perspective, focusing on growth and guaranteed growth and legacy and stewardship. So pretty cool. All right, George, thank you very much for your time, sir. I appreciate it. And thank you for letting me volunteer you to be here. And looking forward to the next 20 years in this industry with you.
Thank you, Michael Scott Forehand. It's my pleasure and my honor.
All right, we'll see you next time.
Take care. Bye now.